Number 10, a dumb break-in. In 2021, a man in Philadelphia died trying to break into the Two Brothers Italian restaurant. It's a local Italian joint that sells things like pizza and sub sandwiches, also known as hoagies. The attempted burglar was probably hoping to steal whatever small cash he could get from the till. Maybe he was even trying to break into the safe, but he actually never made it into the store. This terrible criminal got stuck in the exhaust fan while trying to break in and then suffocated to death. The next day, at about 10 o'clock in the morning, Galloway Township Police responded to a call from the restaurant that a fresh corpse had been found. Investigators determined that the man had tried to gain entry into the Italian restaurant through a rooftop exhaust fan. Clearly, he had been watching way too many spy movies from the 1990s. His attempt to burglarize the business turned into a desperate fight for survival, one that he lost pretty quickly. He got trapped inside the fan and couldn't free himself. Throughout the night, he sucked in enough exhaust fumes to put him to sleep forever. Number 9, a botched robbery. A man in Germany died blowing up a condom vending machine. In America, these condom dispensers are typically found in the toilets of greasy bars, and for some crazy reason, the occasional airport toilet or bus station bathroom. But in Germany, they have condom dispensers set up on the side of the street, and it's hard to say which of these locations is the strangest. The 29-year-old man attached a bomb to the vending machine where it stood silently in the rural neighborhood on a dark street where no people were around. He and his accomplice then took cover in their vehicle, hoping the machine would explode and all the money in it would rain down in their pockets. Sadly for the brains behind this operation, he didn't close his car door in time and was whacked in the head by a steel shard as the machine blew up. His accomplice, terrified for his friend's life, forgot all about the robbery and drove his buddy to the hospital. But there, he died from his wounds. And this has gone down in history as one of the dumbest and most ridiculous deaths ever. Number 8, crack money. 26-year-old Patreon Stokes was charged for hiding money deep in his rectum. On an early Saturday morning in 2017 in the state of Florida, Stokes was pulled over for driving his car over the speed limit. The police could smell the marijuana before he even rolled his window down and decided to carry out a search. They found Stokes in possession of 197 grams of methamphetamine, rock cocaine, and 4 grams of heroin. They even found a massive amount of cash. Oh, and on top of it all, he had a 7-month-old baby in the car with him. Stokes was arrested and taken to jail. During intake, deputies noticed that money Stokes had in his possession when he was arrested was missing. They asked him about it, and Stokes said that the deputies had already taken it from him. Corrections officers weren't buying it and noticed that there were $20 bills literally falling out of his pants. After performing a body cavity search, officers found that Stokes had shoved $1,090 up his rear end. The crack money was then collected as evidence. Number 7, chicken wings. In 2015, 26-year-old Renaud Plaisir set out to rob a house in Manchester. He did the job and was about to get away scot-free when something stopped him. He was about to exit the house he just robbed when he smelt something tasty in the kitchen. He went to the room, and on the counter, he saw a big plate full of chicken wings. He simply couldn't help himself, and instead of fleeing the scene of the crime, he sat down and grubbed on the wings. Apparently, he ate too many because he laid down on the couch, still inside the house that he robbed, and took a little nap. The little nap soon turned out to be a deep good night's sleep, though. At around 6:30 a.m., John Terrell, the owner of the house, saw a pair of sneakers by the door. What's more, he found Renaud asleep in the guest room with a knife in his pocket. Terrell told his wife Eleanor to call the police. Eleanor found drawers open in several rooms, her husband's wallet was missing, and even a couple other snacks were gone from the fridge. Renaud didn't quite wake up to the best sight possible. He found himself at gunpoint until the police arrived at the Terrells. He was later arrested for attempted burglary and was taken to jail with $25,000 bond. So, was the pit stop for chicken wings worth it? We wonder what Renaud has to say now. Do you think Renaud would have stopped to eat and nap if it was a plate full of salad? Let us know in the comments. Number 6. Did I get the job? Not getting a job you applied for is really just a part of life, but there are some people that can't handle that rejection. 26-year-old dopey Umar Mirza was one of these people. In 2017 in Birmingham, England, he tried to get a job at a gambling den known as Paddy Power, but when they decided to go in another direction and hire someone else, Dopey took it pretty hard, so he decided to rob the place. On a Monday morning, Dopey put on a hooded mask and armed himself with a gun and walked into Paddy Power. He actually accomplished the robbery and made off with over $22,000, but he didn't get very far when he left because police quickly arrested him right after his little heist. He took off his mask in front of the security cameras. Oh, and he left his resume with all of his personal details with the store's boss. Nice one, Dopey. Police also recovered a betting slip at his home on which the gambling addict had written, quote, "I have got a gun, open the door or I will shoot you," end quote. There was so much evidence against this guy, he should have got extra jail time for being so dumb. Dopey received 6 years in jail by the Birmingham Crown Court for possessing an imitation firearm and robbery. Oh right, the gun was also a fake. Number 5. Facebook addiction. In 2014, a 26-year-old man named Nicholas Wigg was arrested for being addicted to Facebook. Wait, what? Wigg, who broke into a house in Minnesota and stole cash, credit cards, and a watch, also decided to check his Facebook notifications and play a little bit of Farmville. No, not after he reached safe haven, but while he was still at the very house he broke into. And guess what? He forgot to log out before leaving. When James Wood, the house owner, returned home, he found out that he was robbed, but he also discovered a Facebook account opened on his computer, and it was definitely not his. Assuming that it might be the robber's profile, Wood messaged Wigg. He promised not to turn him in if he gave all the stuff back, but when Wigg came back to the house to return everything he stole, Wood called the police. Wigg was arrested and charged with burglary, but we wonder, did the judge go easier on him for coming back to return everything, or did he go harder on him for being dumb enough to log into Facebook at the guy's house he was trying to rob? Number 4, Butt Dial. Remember Home Alone, the movie with the goofy burglars? I think they call themselves the Wet Bandits or something. Well, anyways, this story reminds us of them. 2 men aged 49 and 42 were trying to rob a house, but majorly failed. Like, majorly. On January 6, 2021, the Staffordshire police in England got a call that took them by surprise. Why do you ask? Well, because one of the robbers had actually called them and detailed their whole burglary plan. Yeah! While trying to sneak into the house they were trying to rob, one of the robbers, whose phone was in his back pocket, butt dialed the police. Yup, the police heard the whole conversation between the crooks. Cops who were patrolling nearby reached the house less than 2 minutes later and arrested them. Although we're certain they were taken into custody, the punishment that they received is still unknown. Chief John Owen even tweeted about the incident. He couldn't help but compare the whole incident with the Home Alone movie, and the only difference was that they were not beaten up by a kid. Would you rather accidentally butt dial your ex while talking smack about them, or your boss? Let us know in the comments. Number 3, Life of Crime. Getting a part-time job as a teenager is a good thing. It's a reasonable step towards your independence, and it offers some experience in the real world. But for one teenager, he didn't really take the right kind of step towards his future. In 2012, 17-year-old Cody Connor was arrested for robbing a sex shop. Connor, who walked into the shop in DeBarry, Florida, pulled out his gun, pointed at Cheryl, the 32-year-old owner, and started demanding she give him all the cash in the store. Instead of handing over the money, Cheryl slyly decided to talk to the kid about why he wanted to start a life of crime in the first place. He then revealed that he needed the money to help his grandparents pay their bills. So, Cheryl offered him a job at the store. He was reluctant at first, but gradually, he put his gun down and started to fill out the job application. After some time, Cheryl, who went next door to get a soda, called the police. When she came back to the store, she found Connor had already left. However, he left his job application with his full name and address on it. The police found him a few blocks away, and he confessed about his sad attempt to rob the sex shop, claiming the weapon wasn't even real. It was just a BB gun meant to scare the clerk. Number 2, eating underwear. Drinking and driving is never a good idea. Seriously, just call an Uber. Years ago in 1985, David Zerfla, an 18-year-old from Colorado, tried to beat the breathalyzer test in the strangest way possible. He really thought eating his own underwear would help him pass. David, who was driving way over the speed limit, was stopped by police. In the hopes of not getting caught, he tore off his underwear from his shorts and stuffed it deep into his mouth, and spat it out right after. So what's the logic behind this absolutely illogical action? He thought that the cotton would absorb the alcohol and save him from getting caught. Funnily, he was doing all this in the back seat of a police car. Needless to say, he was initially charged for going over the speed limit and also for drinking and driving. Number 1, PlayStation controller. In Florida in 2021, 20-year-old Cameron Pittman tried to rob a convenience store by using a PlayStation controller. Not only did he try to rob the place using a gaming gadget, he tried to accomplish his ridiculous crime as a police officer was walking into the store. Cameron gave himself up without much struggle, but that's just about the only thing he did right. He was charged for holding a strong-arm robbery and was put on probation. We know that a gaming controller is not deadly, but a weapon is a weapon no matter what it is. The controller must have been one of the most unusual things to be taken away and stored as evidence. Thanks for watching. Which one of these criminals was the dumbest to you? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos like these. See you next time on The Bad Badger.